Intelligence in the American Revolutionary War was essentially monitored and sanctioned by the Continental Congress to provide military intelligence to the Continental Army to aid them in fighting the British during the American Revolutionary War. Congress created a secret committee for domestic intelligence, a committee of secret correspondence for foreign intelligence, and a committee on spies, for tracking spies within the Patriot Movement organization. Secret Committee. The Second Continental Congress created a secret committee by a resolution on September 18, 1775. The committee was not, however, a true intelligence agency, since the Committee of Secret Correspondence with which it often worked was mainly concerned with obtaining military supplies in secret in, distributing them, and selling gunpowder to privateers chartered by the Congress. The committee also took over and administered on a uniform basis the secret contracts for arms and gunpowder previously negotiated by certain members of the Congress without the formal sanction of that body. The committee kept its transactions secret and destroyed many of its records to ensure the confidentiality of its work. The secret committee employed agents overseas, often in cooperation with the Committee of Secret Correspondence. It gathered intelligence about secret Loyalist ammunition stores and arranged to seize them. The committee also sent missions to seize British supplies in the southern colonies. It arranged the purchase of military stores through intermediaries to conceal the fact that Congress was the true purchaser. They then used foreign flags to attempt to protect the vessels from the British fleet. The members of the Continental Congress appointed to the committee included some of the most influential and responsible members of Congress: Benjamin Franklin, Robert Morris, Robert Livingston, John Dickinson, Thomas Willing, Thomas McKean, John Langdon, and Samuel Ward. Committee of Correspondence. Recognizing the need for foreign intelligence and foreign alliances, the Second Continental Congress created the Committee of Correspondence by a resolution of November 29, 1775. Resolved, that a committee of 5 would be appointed for the sole purpose of corresponding with our friends in Great Britain and other parts of the world, and that they lay their correspondence before Congress when directed. Resolved, that this Congress will make provision to defray all such expenses as they may arise by carrying on such correspondence, and for the payment of such agents as the said committee may send on this service. The original committee members, America's first foreign intelligence agency, were Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Harrison, and Thomas Johnson. Subsequent appointees included James Lovell, a teacher who had been arrested by the British after the Battle of Bunker Hill on charges of spying. He had later been exchanged for a British prisoner and was elected to the Continental Congress. On the committee, he became the congressor expert on codes and ciphers and has been called the father of American cryptanalysis. The committee employed secret agents abroad, conducted covert operations, devised codes and ciphers, funded propaganda activities, authorized the opening of private mail, acquired foreign publications for use in analysis, established a courier system, and developed a maritime capability apart from that of the Continental Navy, and engaged in regular communications with Britons and Scots who sympathized with the American cause. It met secretly in December 1775 with a French intelligence agent who visited Philadelphia under cover as a Flemish merchant. On April 17, 1777, the Committee of Secret Correspondence was renamed the Committee of Foreign Affairs but kept with its intelligence function. Matters of diplomacy were conducted by other committees or by the Congress as a whole. On January 10, 1781, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the forerunner of the Department of State, was created and tasked with obtaining the most extensive and useful information relative to foreign affairs, the head of which was empowered to correspond with all other persons from whom he may expect to receive useful information. Committee on Spies. On June 5, 1776, the Congress appointed John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Edward Rutledge, James Wilson, and Robert Livingston to consider what is proper to be done with persons giving intelligence to the enemy or supplying them with provisions. They were charged with revising the Articles of War in regard to espionage directed against the American forces. The problem was an urgent one. Dr. Benjamin Church, chief physician of the Continental Army, had already been seized and imprisoned as a British agent. But there was no Civilian Espionage Act, and George Washington thought the existing military law did not provide punishment severe enough to afford a deterrent. On November 7, 1775, the death penalty was added for espionage to the Articles of War, but the clause was not applied retroactively, and Dr. Church escaped execution. On August 21, 1776, the committee's report was considered by the Congress, which enacted the first Espionage Act. Resolved, that all persons not members of nor owing allegiance to any of the United States of America, as described in a resolution to the Congress of the 29th of June last, who shall be found lurking as spies in or about the fortification or encampments of the armies of the United States, or of any of them, shall suffer death, according to the law and usage of nations, by sentence of a court-martial, or such other punishment as such court-martial may direct. It was resolved further that the Act be printed at the end of the Rules and Articles of War, on February 27, 1778. The law was broadened to include any inhabitants of these states whose intelligence activities aided the enemy in capturing or killing revolutionary forces.